Day 5 of the summer shred. We have worked out our calories and macros. We have worked out our protein. We've looked at our rituals of our day-to-day habits when it comes to sleep and things like that. And we've also got a training program in place. We're all set up. What is the next bit of advice I'll be doing as part of a diet routine? I'll be really open-minded to the fact that things will not always go our way and we will not get the results that we deserve on a week-to-week basis sometimes. And that is okay, because this beautiful human body is not very predictable. And that's a good thing. Look, life's boring if it's predictable, right? But we want to be looking at a whole journey. I always encourage patients to go by their average weight loss. You tend to lose more the first couple of weeks or so, and after that it's more consistent losses. But if you've lost 5-6 pounds the first week, 3-4 pounds the second week, and 1 pound the next week, you're averaging around 4 pounds a week, aren't you? And that's a great weight loss. And that average will obviously catch up of itself over time. If you watch my first video, there'll be an understanding that weight loss does indeed slow down over time. That's science based on the deficit, based on our basal metabolic rate going down over time. But over the course of, say, this 7-week shred that I'm doing myself, it will allow for good losses to be shown throughout, and then you can build and progress from there depending on how you want to play it. Why does weight loss not go down when we want it to always? Well, it's very, very simple. The goal is actually fat loss. We weigh ourselves because it is the most available metric we have, okay? Most scales are in most bathrooms, but weight doesn't tell us our body fat. Of course it doesn't. It tells us our weight, our water weight, our muscle mass, our bone density, which isn't going to change that much, and our fat loss as well. A pound of fat is a lot of mass. I've got a model of 5 pounds of fat. I'll put it on here again so you can see it. But the point being is that water weight is very volatile. When you wake up in the morning and you weigh yourself, you're at your most fasted, dehydrated state. It's probably the most consistent time and the lightest time to weigh yourself. But if you were to drink a cup of tea and a glass of water and weigh yourself again, you'd put on weight. Well, are you not allowed to have a cup of tea or a glass of water? Of course you can. You're going to put on weight throughout the day. We all put on about 2 to 3 pounds during the day itself. So because of that, when you're weighing yourself, and it depends, I mean, I don't advocate daily really, but if you want to do it daily, fine. If you're doing it weekly, even then you're getting a small snippet of data. I tend to say weigh weekly, compare monthly, it will tell you the full story. But you've got to be process driven throughout, because water weight...
It was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning.
It's going to fluctuate, not just for tea and water reasons, but for hormonal reasons as well. Time the month. There's a video incoming this week around understanding the menstrual cycle. Super important for ladies during a weight loss process. Our fibre consumption is going to change day to day. You know, you might eat 10 grams of fibre one day, you might eat 25 grams another, you might eat fibre later at night, which means it's still present in your body when you weigh yourself the next day. It's going to cause, fibre tends to cling onto water a bit more, carbohydrates tend to cling onto water a bit more, you might weigh more the next day. When you ate the meal the night before, if you ate it at 6 o'clock one evening and 9 o'clock another evening, there's a variable there. You're in a less fasted state for longer if you're at 9 o'clock. You might be heavier the next day. What else we got? Stress. When cortisol is high, we tend to cling on to water weight. The body loves water. It hates losing it. And if there's any sort of hormonal changes, some people might be taking certain medication that's going to impact their water weight because of the fact, again, hormonally there's changes. The body tends to cling on to water when there are hormonal changes. And I think with this in mind, if we have this open mind towards water fluctuations and we are process driven towards what we know we need to do, because that's when things go wrong, when people don't get the result they feel like they deserve and start sabotaging it because they feel like what's the point anymore, that's where we get problems. We need to be active on a day-to-day basis. We need to hit our protein. We need to hit our fluids. That changes, by the way. When we're dehydrated, you know what the clever thing the body does when we're dehydrated? Clings onto the water, okay? It will sweat less. We go to the toilet less. Very, very clever. Alcohol is another one, by the way. Massively fluctuates water weight, hugely. When we're dehydrated from drinking alcohol, the next day the body will cling on to the carbohydrates from alcohol. I will be doing a video on alcohol as well. But what's the one thing you crave when you've had some alcohol the next day? Carbohydrates. Why? The body's getting its water in. It's constantly seeking this homeostasis. And just because that is what happens with the body, things are out of our control, so to speak, most of them. I mean, some of them, obviously, what we eat carbohydrate-wise and drinking alcohol is within our control. But a social occasion. You know, that's something that will happen every now and again. You're supposed to go and enjoy. Social health is a very important thing. Should you beat yourself up because you put on weight the next day after a social occasion? In my opinion, no. Not if we're looking at a big picture. If we're looking at sort of what the next 6 weeks looks like, or indeed the 6 months look like, you can play that into your calories on a day-to-day basis, okay? That works out pretty well. But if we're just going by this day to day or week to week and beating ourselves up when things don't go our way, and again, I repeat, sabotaging because of it, you're always going to have a bumpy journey, right? And you're going to usually get that all or nothing, that I'm motivated, I'm not motivated. My job, and I will say this to the cows come home, is not to motivate anybody. I can't motivate. Motivation comes from within, okay? The saying I like in PT world is, my job is not to motivate, it's to elevate, to get your motivation and take it to the next level. Because there's lots of confusing information out there, and I know exactly how to get any motivated individual to the next level. I'm not going to motivate you, I'm going to elevate you through your own motivation. It's got to come from within motivation. I can give you all the motivational speeches in the world. Greatness is small things done well on a day-to-day basis. Comparison's the thief of all joy. All these wonderful things when it comes to getting you. What's the one about a ship? A ship is safe in the harbour, but that is not what ships are built for. Love that motivational quote. Us humans, we're supposed to go away and do things. We sit at home and do nothing. Yeah, we're safe, but that's not what we're built for. We're built to thrive. You feel a bit more motivated, don't you? But the point being is that that's not the role. My role is to take your motivation and elevate it by putting the right processes in place to allow you to thrive, to build those habits, to do them long enough to see a reward in doing it and change your life. That's the goal, okay? And I tend to associate it with weight loss because I'm somebody who has got weight loss in the past, seen the benefits from doing it and looked at it to change my life, and I want to help you change yours. I know all the mistakes. Trust me. I'm a guy who sat in a cold bath thinking I was going to lose weight because that was something I read somewhere, okay? Not a good sight. But the point being is that I've done stupid things, I've done very clever things, and I've thankfully managed to work it all out. And I'm here to support, I'm here to help, but I can only do that if people are process-driven rather than being defined by the outcome. It's okay to have outcome-based goals. You want to lose 2 stone, 3 stone, whatever it may be. But without it being process-driven, without going by your average, it's going to be bumpy. There will be a week where you do everything right and you put on 1 pound. There will be a week where you do things not so right and you lose 2 pounds, because that's just the way the body works. But if you get it more consistent over the course of time, success leaves clues. There's a saying that I quite like: change is difficult at the beginning, messy in the middle, and absolutely gorgeous at the end. And that is what we want to be aiming for on a day-to-day basis. Do not quit in the middle, quit at the end. And the truth be told is, when it comes to fitness, particularly with exercise, there is no end. And that's part of the charm, not part of the problem. I hope this progressive approach towards your weight loss, this idea that we are eating more protein to aid our weight loss, the fact that we are moving more to aid our weight loss, that we are structuralizing our sleep for our weight loss, I really hope this progressive approach, do more of things rather than restriction. Of course, there is an element of restriction with weight loss. You have to be in a calorie deficit, but you can put certain pillars in place in a progressive mindset and in a progressive manner that are going to aid you to adhere to a deficit. And I'm a firm believer that it's quite difficult to break bad habits, but it is actually quite easy to build good habits. And the idea is you can build the good habits through environment change, through, what I mean by that is, going to a gym is an environment change, is a very progressive, good habit, which can drown out a bad habit of sitting at home watching TV or eating food, okay? Because you're in a different environment, you're moving on, you've taken on the whole process. That's far better than saying you can't do this, you can't do that, and you can't have the other. I hope that helps, I hope that resonates. Let's onwards and upwards we go. It's day 5, I'm feeling good, you can tell. And let's see what day 6 brings. All the best from me. Have a great day. Bye-bye.